happy Monday, everybody. Good to see everybody. Glad you guys could make it. Let's talk about something important. Hopefully the sound and everything in this is good. I had to go and get another phone because I have an echo on the other phone and I have crackling and my mic is on all the time. So if I turn on my messages, then what was happening was I was literally hearing my own echo, and my talk text would just start to text out. And so I started to have the idea that someone had done something untold with my cell phone. And so I had to go get another cell phone. Believe me, I didn't want to. It has been an absolute, a total nightmare, because my equipment was taken from me and I couldn't broadcast properly, and I couldn't, taking away a journalist's tools to be a journalist. And let's be honest, I'm a little bit more than a journalist. I'm the voice of the people who've been oppressed. And there's a lot of them. A guy called me today and told me some things that are just so incredible that you first have to question it. You hear these things and then you go, what did I just hear this person tell me? And what he told me was that the operation in the tri-state area is led by the FBI, that the FBI is working with some of the southern gangs, and I'm talking South of America gangs, and it's absolutely atrocious what's going on. So how's everybody doing? Hit the number 1 button and let me know where you guys are watching from, just so I have an idea of where everybody is from. Where's everybody from? Where is everybody from? Yeah, the FBI apparently is, doing in the tri-state area, according to the information I got today, what the DEA is doing in the Springfield, Missouri area, where, and you guys just saw that the case against some of the people for January 6th was dismissed because the FBI was complicit in creating that controversy. The FBI, I called the FBI, and let me just tell you something. I'll never call them again. Never. I will never call the Federal Bureau of Investigations ever again. Never. It'll never happen. That'll never happen for me, because I simply don't. Ohio! What's going on, Ohio? My new home. Which I just talked to one of my friends and investors back in LA named David. And, I left David's house. I stayed on David's couch right before I left California, because maybe you guys know or you don't know, but I put everything I own in storage in October, in the end of September. I'm sorry, in October, I put everything I owned in storage, and then I took off to Missouri to go to try to get justice for Caleb Slay. And then from there, I haven't had a home. I've been, this van is considered, there she is. Gotcha. This van is considered my home because I have been homeless since October. I was actually homeless in 2021, staying at Jeff Lloyd's house. So that's just the truth. You can say whatever you want. The truth is the truth. So that's just the way it is. Thank you. I appreciate it. How's everybody doing? So I want to talk about something and then tonight, you guys, we have Vermont. I'm just going to call him Vermont. The gentleman who put together the technology for solving Ironton out of Vermont, that gentleman, he's going to have to be on the live with us as I break down solving Ironton, and I'm looking forward to that. And for the people who are down for this mission, let's root out all corruption, not just in the tri-state area, Northern Ohio, Western Ohio, Eastern Ohio, and let's make the epicenter of America Ohio, so that people realize that we're going to fight for justice and we're going to fight for transparency. Work Lions in the house. Good to see you, Shannon. Nice to see you, Christopher. Nice to see you, Tiffany. We don't stop under any circumstances. Yeah, I would love to come. Can you tell me your story about Vermont Hill? CPS Bombshell comes out tonight. Looking forward to sharing that with you guys. Vermilion, is that what it's called? Vermilion, Ohio, is that what it is? Yeah, can you send me a story about Vermilion? Can anybody from Vermilion send me some body cam footage as to what happened to you? Hey, Ripper Media, I'm sorry we haven't had an interview yet. I just hate doing interviews, so I just hardly ever do them. Yeah, Shanna, I blue rent Shanna today. Shanna is you know, she's a great she's an asset to the things that we do, as are a few other people who I haven't listed here. And then Ironton Transparency at Gmail. That's where you want to be sending in your stories. And if you want me to contact you, because I had to switch to another phone, so I don't have Facebook on this phone or Messenger. I'm trying to keep it pure. So let's talk about a couple things in a row. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate your support. Let's talk about a couple things in a row. I'm actually almost to Dallas, Texas right now. I'm going to Dallas to help file a lawsuit for Yunez Lafty. So Yunez in Dallas, I'm on my way there, and we are filing another federal civil rights lawsuit in Dallas, Texas. So that's going to happen this week. At the end of the week, we'll have another lawsuit ready to go. Okay, so now let's talk about some guys to become experts on this as much as I know about it, and I know quite a bit about it, which is the reason why on, I believe it was the 31st of March, was it the 5th? What day was the protest? The actual day of the protest? So on the day of the protest, just so you guys know, let me explain to you exactly what happened so that everybody understands what your right to protest means. I didn't get a chance to, I just put that video up because I needed to be able to rip it down in Cincinnati where we're filing the federal civil rights lawsuit. So I had to put it up on YouTube so that it could be ripped off of YouTube, if that makes any sense. And then we ended up transferring anyway, so we didn't even use it. But I put up Exhibit A to show people that, so just so you know, there are very specific rules to protesting in America, both federal rules and rules created by the Ohio State Constitution. And so what are those rules exactly? And I want you guys to know these rules as much as I know them, so you understand what your rights are. So here's what happened, and I'm going to explain this. I've explained it a few times already, but then for the people who comment and they say stupid, uneducated, ignorant, you know, pig sucking, blue line flag waving constitutionality of protesting and protesting in the past few years because of Black Lives Matter, you're going to have a really hard time with that because your First Amendment is undeniable. It is unequivocal. So let me explain to you what the rules of protesting are so that everybody understands what they are. Okay, so what happened in Ironton, and I want to say the date of that's going to be, what was that, April 5th or something like that? April 5th, is that what that was? What the date of the protest? I don't remember the exact date. It may have been the 30th. I think it was, I can't remember the exact date. It may have been the 27th. I think it was the 27th. It could have been March 27th. But let me explain something to you guys because I want you guys to become experts on this. I want you guys to become absolute experts on your right to protest. Because I read some of the comments because I was really, I have a self-driving car, so my car drives itself. I'm not sure if you see this. I don't have to touch anything. It just drives. I really don't even have to really pay attention, but I do anyway because it's a responsible thing to do. And so I want to explain something. So what happened on that date, I believe it may have been March 28th or something like that, when I was at the community center building, which is a tax-funded building, when the loser mayor there, Sam Cramblett, when he started to troll my account and send me a super chat for $1.99, Mr. Cramblett, what that did was that then made it so that I understood that this man who was the head of all government in Ironton had then mocked me and mocked the citizen voice of the people of Ironton because they're not being represented fairly. The people of Ironton are not being represented fairly. And so when Sam Cramblett sent me a $1.99 super chat, thanks for the $1.99, Sam. But what that did is that then forced my hand to move into a peaceful protest. Now, I didn't get to play the whole South Carolina versus Edwards. It's on oyez.org. That's oyez.org. Moderators, you can put that in, South Carolina versus Edwards, oyez.org. You can listen to the oral arguments, which I've already listened to twice in my lifetime. So I was going to do it a third time just so for you guys, so that you guys would understand your right to protest. But let me just go and put it into your search bar. Your right to protest in Ohio, your right to protest federally. And so if you watch the video that I posted today, when they shut the building down and they say the building is closed, I start the timer in the upper left-hand corner. And about 92 seconds after they said the building is closed, I was under arrest. That is not the federal First Amendment rules for protesting. That is against my constitutional rights. All you dunce caps that I saw in the comments going, you can't be in a building or you're resisting arrest. The arrest was unlawful. Therefore, anything that happened after that moment was not, it's not applicable. It can't be, it's not relevant. So when they arrested me within 90 seconds of closing the doors, and then when the police, Pam and her group of goons, when they came on the scene, if you see the timer in the lower right-hand corner, it was about 13 seconds after she said, Jose M. DeCastro, you will cease and desist, like throw mama from the train, okay? And so when she did that, she only gave me 13 seconds. What Pam is supposed to do, and I know that she's a dunce cap and she doesn't know the law, but what she's supposed to do is give me a fair warning, give me ample time to get my grievances out so that government officials will hear them, and then she has to provide an exit for me to clearly exit the building. Now, notice where we did the peaceful protest. That happened inside of a tax-funded building. Now, here's another aspect to making sure that you stay within the boundaries of peaceful protesting. The dozen or so citizens who were with me on that day, they were not incited to violence. That's the opposite. We were actually going over the constitutionality of law when they came in and everybody was seated. There was no violent action. We were not obstructing traffic where we could have caused damages or damage to human beings, and we were not inciting a riot. Those are the rules to your First Amendment right to protest. Reading what you guys wrote with some of these dunce caps, you are so, you know what it is? It's not that you're a dunce cap. You might be smart. You just have to read the rules to protesting, brother. You went on to the comment section and said, well, you're staying in a city building after it's closed. The reason why we stayed in the city building after closing is because that is the proper place to redress your government. If you haven't noticed, if you watch all of the videos that I do, I never raise my voice to the police unless I'm in a specific designated place where citizens have a right to redress their government. In the Forney City Council meeting a month ago, when the police, when they came in, I raised my voice because I have a right to raise my voice in the proper venue. As long as I'm not saying, burn it down, if I'm not saying break something, then I'm not violating the peace. Now, when I got outside of the Forney City Council meeting, the officer, Chief Larry, I'm sorry, his name's not Larry, it's Todd, Chief Todd Udy, then said to me, you're not being trespassed. And then in the next sentence, he said, you're disrupting a public meeting, which is an offense. It's called an offense, brother. It's not an offense. It's called an offense. But at that time, when he told me you can be charged with violating, with interrupting a public meeting, I said, okay, then I'll leave, because I wasn't protesting at that time. Now, if I had said I'm protesting and I hadn't tried to cause a riot or done anything that displayed any kind of violence, then I have a right to be there. So you dunce caps who are writing stupid things under the video, all it takes is 5 seconds on a search engine. Go to any search engine you want. Ohio state law for protesting. They have to provide me an exit to leave. They have to say, okay, here's a citizen redressing his government. Sam Cramblett has ducked him. And so we have to give him a chance to be heard along with the dozen other people who were there. And then we have to provide a safe exit for him. That's what has to happen according to your First Amendment right. Your First Amendment right. Does everybody know that? Does everybody understand that? Because it's just so, yeah. And by the way, Shanna, great links. Thanks a lot. Sativa Gold, great links. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. More people need to sign and fill out those petitions. Those petitions have got to fill up. Recall Jeff Lawless has got to fill up. We got to fill that up to the top. To the top. How's the volume? Is everything okay? So Shanna got a blue wrench. Shanna's been doing stuff behind the scenes. Shanna's been working. Shanna's been putting in a lot of hours. She's been working hard. Shanna has been working hard. Yeah, we only focus on the change. So I'm going to Dallas right now to file another federal civil rights lawsuit for Yunez Lafty. We're going to fill out his paperwork for him so that he has a right to get justice for his neuropathy in his wrists, for the PTSD he's going through on a regular basis when he sees police. Because Yunez is a very nice, soft-spoken guy, but he's an alpha, man. You can't grab him and throw him in torture cuffs. That's against the rules. You violated his rights. You see, the cops here in America, what they've done is they've bastardized Terry versus Ohio to the point where they can just simply arrest you for no good reason. And I mean arrest you when they put you in torture cuffs. Torture cuffs are not detainment. Remember, go watch the video that says the history of torture cuffs, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Cuffs were invented to torture black people. That's why they were invented. The cuffs that cops use today, the same cuffs that cops use today, were invented to torture black slaves. So if you're poor and white and you get those cuffs put on you, that's what they did to black folks on the regular. That was normal. That's what they did. So I'm just telling you guys. So I want to just talk about the constitutionality of protesting, and I want to list, Feiner versus, it's Feiner, Feiner versus New York, 1951. Read the holding. Go to oyez.org, oyez.org, and put in Feiner versus New York, Feiner versus New York, 1951. And there they lay out what the rules of protest are. And then you can go to the 1963 case of Edwards versus South Carolina, and you can see the actual rules there are to protesting. So you dunce caps who are writing that stuff, man, it only took me literally 10 seconds because we were doing the case law for the federal civil rights lawsuit. And when we were doing the case law, all you have to do is put case law plus right to protest into your search bar, and you get 50 cases that list out what your rights are. And if you don't use your rights, you lose your rights. It's that simple. Dunce cap, saying stupid stuff. You're just saying stupid stuff. Oh, well, they might be able to get you for the resisting charge if the arrest was lawful, but the arrest was unlawful. So anything that happened subsequent to the arrest is not applicable. It's not evidence. Listen, remember, almost everything I ever say to you is not my idea. Almost everything that I teach you guys or we learn together doesn't belong to me. It's the ideas of geniuses who I'm standing on the shoulders of, okay? I'm standing on the shoulders of genius. And the genius is not me. I'm just repeating what they said. You follow me? Yeah, Shanna does deeply care. She's great. You're doing a great job, Shanna. And I had a great talk yesterday with Kim and Joe over there in Vermont. And we had a great conversation about, and by the way, I think Kim's doing a great job too. I don't know if she's in the room or not, but I just wanted to say thanks a lot, Kim. Thanks a lot, Joe, for the hard work. And I'm going to need Joe on the live when we're doing the breakdown of when we're doing the breakdown of solving Ironton, because remember, I threw so much data at these guys regarding the rehabilitation that it was a lot of data in a, we just can, who have been violated and cheated by this absolute, just so you guys know, and let me make it clear to you guys, okay? People who call me a sovereign citizen, you're a moron. I'm exactly the opposite of a sovereign citizen. I'm for the rule of law, for law and order. I respect the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I'm all for it. The law that you guys are being subjected to is a kangaroo, backwoods, bastardization of what our country was founded upon. What you guys are being treated with is an absolute BS system that isn't real. It's a facade. The people getting their kids stolen away from them. I need more emails of the paperwork to irontontransparency@gmail. Shanna, post that link if you would, please. Post it. I'm not looking at the comments. I can't look at the comments and stay focused. So we are living in a bastardized system of what our Constitution is. And you know that by reading some of these CPS cases where they don't give the parent due process of law and they snatch their kid away. It's incredible. It's incredible. You know, and that judge and that CPS worker who I've already previously mentioned, you know who you are. I'm going to take you guys down for breaking the law. You can't break the law. See, that's what pisses me off when people say, oh, you're a sovereign citizen. The opposite. The absolute. I am for rule of law. I follow rule of law. I'm sorry it's cutting out. I'm in the middle of nowhere in Dallas and Houston. You know, I'm sorry, you guys. Hit your like button. I'm so sorry. Reach over and hit your like button. It should come back. I apologize. Chille is fully backing the corporate state. Is that right, brother? Is that right? You know, actually, I hate to educate you, my friend, but if we followed the actual appendages and the amendments and the actual Bill of Rights, then you would find out that the state doesn't have any power over you except to make sure that your rights are respected. That's the only power that the state is truly supposed to have over you, is to make sure that other people don't violate your rights. To say that I'm a statist or I'm for the state, you're insane. You're insane. That's the stupidest. You know what that is? That's so tell me about the Federalist Papers. Tell me you read the Federalist Papers. Just tell me you read the Federalist Papers. And then, you know what? Then take a look at my positions after you've read the Federalist Papers, and then come back here and tell me I'm a statist. It's just preposterous. It's just preposterous. If you actually understand the documentation that was created for us, that was supposed to be a conduit of God's laws, then you would understand that I'm the furthest thing from a statist. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anybody say to me. That's just ridiculously stupid. That's just an uneducated person's opinion or perspective who hasn't done any reading. Tell me about the spirit of laws. Tell me about that. Tell me about Hobbes' social contract. Tell me about that. Tell me about Kant's. Do you even know who Kant is? It's spelled with a K, K-A-N-T. Tell me about Kant's social contract. I mean, go further. Go into Marxism. Tell me about Marxism's philosophy. Tell me what Karl Marx's philosophy was, which I'm not a socialist and I'm not for communism either. I'm for neither one of those things, and that's where you're going to get some Marxism. But if you don't understand about it, then you don't know what you're talking about. You're just saying things to try to incite others when you're saying things that are ignorant, when my position has been clearly defined over and over and over again. I'm for rule of law. My friend Brian over at High Impact Flicks, Brian and I disagree on a couple things, but we're on the same team. We're for freedom and liberty. You know how we get it. He has a disagreement with me about it, but we have healthy conversations about democracy, about the republic, about what our country is supposed to stand for. Now, we may not agree on the social system that that they would like used, but I'm for the social contract. And so far, we're not living up to it. We're failing. And what did John Locke say? What is John Locke's famous words? When the government fails to uphold the social contract, it is time to replace that government. And so we should be replacing all of these elected representatives with new ones and voting them out. Voting them out. Yeah, and let me hit it again, guys. Ironton Transparency at Gmail. Ironton Transparency at Gmail. And make sure you send your CPS papers into Ironton Transparency at Gmail, and then make sure you guys sign the petition, recall Jeff Lawless, and then the last one is ironton.ohiopetition.org, and make sure that you fill out your affidavit there so we can turn that in and make sure that we have the proper paperwork done in the proper fashion. Remember, everything is done through legislation in the United States of America. Everything is done through legislation. Nothing in our country, you do have some executive orders and some mandates that have ruined our country, but for the most part, everything happens through legislation. And what happened when Richard Nixon was able to create the war on drugs in 1971 without going through the proper legislative process? He's ruined our country. Our country's worse today because of Richard Nixon. He's in the very bottom 5 of all presidents. He's terrible, terrible. So I wanted to come on for a little while and just talk about, and then you're not going to believe it. You guys are not going to believe it. So it'll be tomorrow morning. We'll make one more attempt with Pam to get my phone back. I've already replaced my phone, and the people who loaned me a phone and stuff, I'll be returning that to you. Thank you. I appreciate the loaner. But for the most part, what we're talking about is understanding your right to protest is unequivocal. Unequivocal meaning without question. You have a right to protest, and that is without question. Unequivocal, that's what that means. Without a doubt, without a question. And so if you guys watch that, what happened was, oh Lord, ooh, that's dirty. That's dirty. Whoop, 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 whoop. So you guys have a right to protest. And I just want to be clear, Sam Cramblett, actually, he's the one that kicked that protest off. It's so funny. I listed so many people in the civil rights lawsuit, but Sam Cramblett wasn't one of them. And I wish I could have listed him because he's such a garbage man. How that guy is mayor, I don't know, but it's pretty disgusting. Apparently, he has some substance abuse issues that he needs to deal with from the reports that I'm getting. Allegedly, Sam Cramblett has some problems with some substance. And, as you guys have seen, I don't ever beat people up for having substance problems. But Sam Cramblett, according to multiple reports, he has some substance abuse issues. And I hope that Sam's able to get the proper help to get sober and get himself on the right track. I have nothing but empathy for those people who have been burdened with the disease of addiction. Because there's so many of you who have been burdened with the disease of addiction. And I think that it's terrible to shame somebody who has a drug or alcohol problem instead of trying to help that person. So I hope Sam Cramblett hears this, and I hope that he faces his addictions if he has them, according to the reports that I'm getting. And I hope that Sam gets help for what he's going through. I don't beat people up because they have addiction. I just don't do it. I've seen addiction in my own family, and I remember seeing a cousin of mine growing up, and he was criminalized and punished for his alcoholism. He was an alcoholic before he was 12. His name was Michael, and Michael's dead today. He's my cousin, but he was dead. He's dead. No, Michael's still alive. His dad they found dead. In a park. They just found his bones, and he was an alcoholic. His bones had been there since the previous summer. So, you're not gonna ever hear me talk about people who have addiction and try to degrade them or shame them. It's just sad. You shouldn't do it. And that's the whole problem with the war on drugs, not help people. Those are two different things. War on people or help people. And so, as you know, the CIA created crack, and they're the ones who distributed it. The CIA, they did all these things that are horrible, along with the FBI and the DEA. When you have, so you see how bad the cops are on the streets of America. You see how terrible the cops in America are in general. And by the way, I saw a cop today, just so you know. I've reached out to that cop already to call me. I found a cop who actually exposed corruption. I can't wait to talk to him. I can't wait to talk to him. He's still a cop. So I can't wait to talk to this gentleman. I'm very excited about it. And he exposed corruption in the jail. He actually leaked the video himself to the press. And then when it came out that the video leaked, he said, I did it. It was me. Because what he witnessed happened at this jail was so atrocious. And I believe, I can't remember if it was in Colorado or if it was in one of the tri-states. I can't remember exactly. There's just so many cases of abuse that I get constantly. That person in Colorado, I'm going to call you. I just haven't had a free second. And having to transfer over my phone has been a real bugger. It's been a real bugger. It really has. What Pam did to me has caused me a lot of problems and heartaches, and she's going to have to pay for that because it's been difficult for me. It's been difficult. And then also, by the way, you know, we're talking about the, I believe her name was Suzanne Triplett. There was a woman named Suzanne. Was her name Suzanne Triplett? Is that what her name was? What was her name? Was it Sharon Triplett? Who was the woman that she was killed in the jail? And yeah, that's right. Thank you. And her murder, and I say her murder because it was just covered up. And her daughter is still very upset about losing her mom, when, you know, the truth is it shouldn't have happened. And then also there was a guy named I believe his name was Barry Atkins. Is that his name? Was it Atkins? Atkins also died in the jail. And I need more information about the Atkins man who died. I need more information about him. There's people involved who are not giving me the information. I called and I asked about it, and they ducked. They ducked. So I need more information about the Atkins man who died in the Lawrence County Jail. And I need more information about Triplett. And I also need more information about Trevin. Trevin was also killed. There's a lot of people. That's why everybody has to sign that Recall Jeff Lawless petition, because you shouldn't die when you go to jail. You shouldn't die. But they deny medication. They steal your property. They steal your driver's license, your insurance. They steal your money. This is going on like crazy. And I've got so many. I literally have 100 audios, far more, that this is what's happened. It's really, really bad. And I tell you what, we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop under any circumstances. There's no way we stop. There's no way. And then, you know, with my phone being tapped, my other phone, they definitely tapped my phone. And so, you know, then I wonder, you know, what's my recourse when either the FBI, the DEA, or some sort of federal agency taps my phone line, you know, and I have to go get a brand new phone? What is that? How are they able to do that? There'd be no reason in the world you can tap into my phone. I haven't broken the law. I plan no uprising. There's no planned uprising against the government. I plan on peacefully protesting, assembling, and petitioning to get the change that is God-given. That is a God-given American right. You can say it's an American right, but it's a God-given American right, because our Constitution and our Bill of Rights is founded on John Locke's principle of divine morality. That's a fact, whether you like it or not. I'm not particularly religious, but that's a fact. Our entire country was founded on the principle of God's morality. That's just the way it is. Divine morality. And that's, you know, you don't have to like it, especially if you're an atheist. I was an atheist myself for 20 years. So I never liked it when people said God and these things, because I was such a devout atheist after reading the Bible and scanning a bunch of other religious texts that it just turned me off. And then when I found God in 2018, God found me, you know, my life just began to get better. And the purpose that I have today has become just so clear to me. It's just so clear to me. And I think about a million different things. You know, why didn't I have children? Why didn't I marry? Why am I single? You know, I think about all these things, and then I realize that I'm on the exact path that was intended for me as a human being. And then a lot of you who are coming along the lines with me, this was your intended path as well. You know, Shanna in the room, Shanna's been a huge help to me this past couple weeks. Joe and Kimberly and Bob and Nina and X Factor and T Roy has been along the ride for me since I started on TikTok in June. T Roy created a YouTube account to keep coming. T Roy, one of the moderators, is die hard. So that was his life path. You know, I don't know everything, and I told you, I'm not particularly a religious person. No, I'm just not, especially organized religion. I want nothing to do with it. I have to hold my breath to go to funerals, to walk into the religious place that they have them, because I just can't stand it. You know, I'm a big believer in God now after I met God in 2018. And God said to me, you are a beautiful person. Stop beating yourself up and do what you're intended to do. I just didn't know what I was intended to do. And now I clearly understand what my intention, what the intentions of my being are. And, you know, just so you guys know, in 2018, after God touched my heart, I sent out a mass email to my entire family, and I have a huge family. I sent out a mass email to every single person in my family who had their email address. And I said, I'm no longer an atheist. I found God. God found me. It's a fact. It's a fact. So I made the announcement publicly because I was so touched. It was the most intense moment of my entire life. And one of these days I'll talk about my interaction, but it just makes me cry every time. It chokes me up every time. And it doesn't matter how many times I've told the story. When you have that meeting with God, I'll tell you something. There's just you can't. It's like trying to explain what cottage cheese tastes like. it's like trying to explain, you know, how a dog thinks. It's just, you know, it's just impossible. It's just impossible. So that's the thing, you know. And so I'm just super grateful to be in this position where, you know, look, it's hard. This is hard. I sleep in hotels. I stay at persons of justice's houses. I stay at random people's houses who I don't know. I make friends along the journey. I never know where I'm gonna sleep. I got a roll in the back here, and I got my bag. Those are the dirty clothes I'm taking to wash in Dallas. You know, it's a hard road. But then I think about it, and I think to myself, I couldn't do this if I had a wife and kids. And if I had kids, they would try to torture me with CPS to try to stop my momentum. So I just think about these things all the time. And I you know, if it's your life, you would too. You know, if it's your whole life, you would think about these things too. So anyway, I just wanted to come on because I read some of the comments, and tonight we're going to go over solving Ironton. If Joe has it all done in time, the website should be done tonight. But Joe pulled an all-nighter last night. He didn't sleep last night. He worked through the night because I made the announcement that solving Ironton would be up tonight. And then we talked after I got off the live last night, and he was like, brother, I don't know if I can have it done within 24 hours, but we have all the data. And so he's trying to get the website up now. And then we're going to go over all of the connections of how the rehab scam has been going on. And it's a scam. The judges are all in on it. The judges are all in on it. On the rehab scam, where they're making money off you going to a rehab, every judge you can think of is in on it. It's really sad. And then Finley, she kept herself so clean. Finley has 1 degree of separation between herself and the rehabs across the board. You can see it on a graphic. Kristen Finley has 1 degree of separation between her and the rehabs. And she directly ties to the rehabs, but she has a degree of separation to keep her from getting in trouble. But once I expose all the connections, you good people will be able to tie those connections together for us, and we'll be able to say, oh, so I know Finley did this, and I know Mike Finley did that, and I know James Andrea Krutzenberg or whatever their name is, the Krusties, those people, they're terrible. She's working as a prosecutor, putting people in. Who profits from the rehabs? All the judges. And then that prosecutor, and then, oh, the lawyer, Randy Lambert. Randy, Mr. Lambert, you're not a prosecutor, you're just an attorney, but you have your fingers in everything, Randy. What Randy likes to do is set up LLCs. That's what Randy likes to do. Randy likes to set up lots of LLCs. Did you know that? Randy has so many LLCs, an LLC and an LLC and an LLC. That's what Randy does. But Randy, just so you know, forensic accountants, like the people who work with me, we traced back your LLCs. We went through everything, Randy, and I'm just going to expose it. And then if you've done something illegal, the people will find it. It's not going to be me. I'll just lay out what it looks like, and then the people will find it. The people will find it. Are you guys still here? Did I lose connection here? Am I in the middle of nowhere? I haven't seen a chat in a minute, so I may be frozen right now. It may be frozen. I don't know if it is or not. I hope it's not, but you never do know. It might be frozen. So, are we still rolling? It says still rolling, but I don't see any comments, so maybe, there it is. Mash that cottage cheese button. Yeah, so, I'm just kind of talking out loud here for a minute as I have this minute to drive down the road with you guys and moment to share the things that are going on. And also for you guys to look up your right to protest so that you can bash down these trolls in the comment section, because it's plain as day what's written. I mean, your right to protest is written so well. I think I lost connectivity. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Did we come through? There it is. We're rolling again. Okay. Yeah, I'm breaking up pretty bad. Sorry about that. I apologize, guys. I literally am between Houston and Dallas, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and so it's going to be a little choppy. It'll be a little bit choppy. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Pasco Wind, you got that exactly correct. Hey, Pasco Wind got it. I wish I could pin that comment. Pasco Wind said that he admits he learned everything about the Constitution through Google and YouTube. You got me. I didn't graduate from college. I graduated from high school second to bottom. There was only one guy who graduated less than I did in high school. That's how dumb I am. And he had a brain injury our junior year in high school, and I just outpaced him. I just barely passed him. Now, I did make honor roll my senior year in high school, but that was years after D's and F's, years for D's and F's, because I just didn't care about school. I didn't care about learning when I was that age. I wanted to wrestle, and I wanted to go in the woods, and I wanted to hunt and fish, and that's what I wanted to do. But I didn't love school at all. I didn't love it at all. Yeah, you got it, dude. I know everything I know is self-taught. I've never even had a mentor in law. Now I do. I do now. I have a mentor now, someone who's teaching me a lot of stuff. But I'm literally a Google scholar. I'm a YouTube scholar. And I've said this hundreds of times, and I'll say it again. Most of the people who watch this are either as smart as me or smarter. I'm not a genius at all. I mean, I'm pretty sharp. I'll admit that. I'm pretty quick on my feet. I don't lose my cool. I have a temperament for a fight like very few people. It doesn't matter what you say to me or do to me. You can't really trigger me. You can't get me mad as far as, where I'm going to lose my cool over something you said, So yeah, I mean, I don't have any formal education. I went to college for 4 years or 5 years. I went to a junior college for a couple of years. I went to Arizona State for a year and a half, I think. So, and then I dropped out because I blew my knee out and I couldn't wrestle anymore. So I didn't even finish college. Yeah, I didn't even finish college. I think my last semester at Arizona State, I flunked out of all my classes because I stopped going. Yeah, I mean, you got me. You got me. I mean, if you want to talk about my lack of education, man, you got me good. As far as a formal school who gave me a stamp and said, you're smart, nope, don't got it. Don't got it. I don't got it. So you got me, dude. You showed everybody what an idiot I am. You've called me out. Next, you know what you should do? You should call me a narcissist, because then what that does is that really makes me just go into a hole and just stop. You can say what you like, but let me tell you something. I will be the governor of the great state of Ohio. And when we have executive power, I will yield that executive power for change. I will yield. I'm telling you, I'm not going to tolerate this. And it just so happens, I was talking to David Condon earlier. I was talking to David Condon. Um, and David is one of my supporters in LA, who literally has given me a place to sleep and given me money out of his wallet to eat, because I'm not rich. And so I've had to rely on other people. And I've definitely given back to those people who have supplied me, and I give them back what I can give back to them. And every person who donates money to me or buys one of my digital products from DeletelawZ, that's how you can support me, buy my digital products or the hard copy poster. Thank you for your support. And even people who support me, you'll never get anything back from me. I won't give any kickbacks. There won't be any legislation written in your favor. There won't be any favors done through politics. I won't give anything back to you as far as a kickback politically. That won't happen. That won't happen. I won't jeopardize my principles because someone gave me some money. That won't happen. That's the thing. When you were raised dirt poor, and then you come into the middle class in high school, and my aunt and uncle who raised me were definitely middle class. Then what happens is you can't be tainted by money or by greed, because I've already tasted what it's like to have no money. So listen, I eat whatever food I want. If I want organic, I eat it. So to me, the quality of my life is based on if I can eat food or not. So I'm not going to be corrupted by your money. I don't give a damn about yachts. I already did that in LA. I already went. Anybody go to Dan Bilzerian's parties? I did. I went to all of Dan Bilzerian's parties. You guys know who Dan is? I have pictures at Dan Bilzerian's parties with, maybe 30 or 40 dudes and then like 6,000 women. I went to his parties. I have the pictures to prove it. So I already lived it. I was already on a rich guy's yacht with a bunch of women who it's like a Caligula. I already did it. It doesn't fulfill me. It doesn't make me happy. It's not what makes me happy. It just didn't make me happy. And I thought that it would. I was telling my law partner last night, I was saying to him, hey brother, I've already lived it. And I told him some of the escapades that I had been on, and he was just shaking his head and saying, you did that? And I said, yeah, I lived that. I was there. It was real. And he was like, wow, and you've come all the way to here. And it's kind of like, though, but once you do that, once you live and you go to Dan Bilzerian's parties and you're on the list to get into his parties, then you kind of go, meh, it's not that great. It's not that great. Yeah, if you guys want to send me any of your information, if you want me to contact you, send me an email to irontontransparency@gmail.com, and then I'll get back to you. No, listen, I'll tell you, I don't ever want to retire. I will never retire. I don't want to go, and I don't want to talk about the weather. I don't want to talk. My mom's retired, just so you know. So I'm not cutting down my mother. I love my mom. Big time. I love my mother. But my mom, they talk about the weather and they enjoy themselves. Oh man, looks like the rain's coming in tomorrow. Is that right? Yeah, the rain's coming in. Oh wow, rain's coming in. Huh? Yes, it is. How much you think it's going to rain tomorrow? Oh, we're supposed to get a half an inch. Really? Yeah. Whoa. Man, it never rains up here in the high desert. We're going to get some rain tomorrow. Could be a monsoon. No way. It's a monsoon, huh? And that is the topic of conversation. And so for me, I was talking to my law partner. Yesterday, Sunday, was finally when we were finishing the lawsuits. We could finally like sit down and just talk like men and have a conversation. And we got to eat too. We got to make money enough. And he's got a big family, so we got to make. He had to make money to feed his family, and I got to make enough money to eat and pay my rent, or wherever I'm staying, I got to pay. And so there is that thing where you do have to make some money. But then I looked at him last night and I said, well, you're this certain age where you are. I said, you got to be retiring, within the next however many years. And then he looks at me and I look at him. And at the same time, we go, you're never retiring. No, he's never retiring. I'm never going to retire. I do not want to stop. I feel like if you stop, you die. That's what I feel like. I feel like if you stop, you're dead. And I just don't want that. I don't want that. I want to change the world, and I will. And that's the way it'll go. That's the way it'll go. There's no negotiating. There's no talking about it. There's not trying to change the agenda. We don't stop under any circumstances. Under any circumstances. What happened to James Polk? What happened to James Polk? What happened to him? U.S. President, 1845 to 1849. What happened to James Polk? James Polk, you don't know anything about him most likely because you have to really study the presidents to learn anything about Polk. But if you know anything about James Polk, you will find out that he was one of the most successful presidents in U.S. history, a president you've never heard anything about. Polk was amazing. He pulled off stuff that you would never think he could pull off, and he did it. His agenda that he set out when he ran for president, you know how these morons run for president? Well, Biden ran on nothing. He ran on I'm not Trump, and that's how he won. But James Polk runs for president in 1844. He wins in 1845, and then he gets his agenda. We get the Southwest America, which is Texas, Arizona, Nevada. We take that land from the Mexicans with a very small war. And then the Northwest Territory, he makes a deal with the Brits, and we go to the 49th parallel instead of the 51st parallel. And he almost doubles the size of America again. He takes in more land than the Louisiana Purchase in 1803 in 1846, 1847. So James Polk is this amazingly successful president, and you can go on to YouTube and put, biography of James Polk, and you can just listen like I've done as I've driven across the country. I just listen to lectures about presidents so I can learn more information. And so then James Polk, when he gets out of the presidency, he tells people that he's only going to run for one term. He's only going to run for one term. And then right after he gets out of office, he dies. Why did James Polk die right when he got out of office? Because he stopped. Not only did he stop, because he stopped, then the war hero from winning California and winning the Mexican-American War, Zachary Taylor, he's the war hero, and then he becomes president after Polk, which is in the other party. And the reason the other party won and Polk's party didn't win was because James Polk didn't run. And so there had been nobody building momentum to run against him or to run in the same party. And so then they lose power and they lose all momentum because James Polk put a stop date to how far he would go. That's why. James Polk, you could have been reading stories about James Polk today. You could have been reading stories about James Polk and what a great two-term president he was. And Taylor would not have been president because Polk would have beat him. But instead, his party lost, and then Polk dies. He dies like 100 days after leaving the presidency because he quit. He stopped. And that taught me a lot. James Polk setting an expiration to how far he would go, that meant that if you stop, you die. And I can't stop halfway under any circumstances. Under any circumstances. I don't care what happens to me. I don't care. There's no wife and children at home waiting for me. So we proceed. We push forward. So I know the reception's probably super, super choppy. I literally am in like flat brown land area between Houston and Dallas. the new third party that we're going to win on in Ohio takes the right issues and the left issues, and we put them into one. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you, brother. God bless you, sir. God bless you. Michael Dolan, consistent. Work Lion, consistent. All you guys are consistent. News Now Hamilton, huh? If you're homeless, get a job. Al, thank you so much for popping your head up, brother. I appreciate that. Listen, you don't got to go home, but I suggest you go with God, my friend. Go with God. Put your arms around the loving being, and look for happiness and salvation, my friend. I must be in another place. There it is. There you go, sir. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. God bless you, sir. I wish you the best on your journey. I wish you the best on your journey. Okay. Yeah, James Polk. So now, did you guys take a look at James Polk's life? I mean, this guy, what he accomplished. And by the way, the really sad part, Al, I'm gonna miss you, brother. I didn't notice you come. I won't notice you leave. I only notice people who are really down for it, who roll Dolan. The people who come in are like, you know what? We finished this. Those are the people, Shanna's, the people like that, like Joe, people like X Factor, who are not for status quo, that want to change these things. So yeah, that's just where I'm at. That's just where I'm at. And T-Roy's been on the team of Overturn Terry versus Ohio since June. T-Roy, you know, miss you like a migraine. So the last thing is, and I'll get out of here. Sorry, it's buffering. Yo, yeah, watch that Sativa, Jeff Boyd, and the Pop Brothers at Law in that were so good, so good. That's okay. So then the last thing is, listen, folks. I'm moving to Ironton, Ohio. See that? I just got to go to LA and get a couple things out of storage and close my storage unit, and then I pack up and I move to Ironton. That's what's happening. And I don't care who believes it or doesn't believe it. I told my family, I've told my friends, I told my mother, I've told my sister, I've told my brother, I've told my cousins, I've told every person around, I'm moving to Ironton, Ohio. I already put my move date as the first day I was there, March 25th, 2022. That's when Ironton became my hometown. And that's where I'm going to live, right there. So I have access to the tri-state area. And then when I want to go north to those northern towns that are being cheated, I'm going to go up to those northern towns, and I'm going to go to every town there's corruption. I'm going to go through Atlanta, and I'm going to help that man file a federal civil rights lawsuit against that sheriff's department that railroaded him illegally, using Thompson versus Clark, your right to sue for malicious prosecution, in DeKalb County, Georgia. I'll be going there to help that man sue 100%. I'll be going through Mississippi to file my federal civil rights lawsuit against T. Nathan, Jolly Ginger, I Speak 1906, Lethal Lex, and Aunt Karen. I'll be filing a defamation lawsuit against them in Mississippi because that's where T. Nathan's in prison. Thanks, Justice. Appreciate you, brother. Justice for Michael Jr., huh? Tell me that story sometime. Email me that. Transparency, IrontonTransparency@gmail.com. Tell me about Michael Jr. What happened to him? I'd like to know that story, especially when your username is Justice for Michael Jr. I'd like to know what happened to Michael, because I do care deeply. I know I joke a lot and I say what a narcissist I am. The truth is, I have empathy so big in my heart that it's impossible to ignore. And so I want to know what happened to Michael. I do. Justice for Michael Jr. Would love to hear it. Yeah, I'm heading over there. I gotta run over here to Dallas, and then while I'm over here in Dallas, I may pop over to Georgia, to DeKalb County, and talk to that gentleman who the sheriffs railroaded him, and he was wrongfully prosecuted. It's called a malicious prosecution, and we read that the other day. So that's what I'm going to go and help him out with his lawsuit after we file for Unez in Dallas. And then I got a Jane Doe in Ironton. We have to have a long talk over the next couple of days where we get the general facts and allegations, where we get all those listed. So if Jane Doe is watching or she sees this in Lawrence County, the one that Spooge certainly performed statutory rape on, you know, we got to have a long talk this week about what exactly happened and get. It's called general facts and allegations, and so that's what we have to do with Jane Doe. That's what we have to do with Jane Doe. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Oh, I'm only an hour out of Dallas. I'm only an hour out of Dallas. What's up, Playboy? I'm almost to Dallas, Texas. I am all just at, yeah, yeah. Ju, you could put the @ symbol, Shanna, and then that will tag him in the chat. If you want, hit @ and then put justice for Michael. I'd like to know what that story is about, especially because that's his username. Someone's really hurting inside. Someone really got hurt, and Michael's probably dead, which is, you know. Yeah, you know, it looks like the corruption goes, all the county commissioners, it's really bad. It's really bad. You know, it's not good. So anyway, I've been on a long time. So yeah, I'm moving to Ironton, guys, and that's just the way it is. And if I don't, then next month you can say he's a lying fraud. There you go. By May 1st, if I haven't got myself into Ironton and moved over there, well, then everybody's going to be able to say what a liar I am. See, he was lying. See, he made all these videos saying he was moving to Ironton and he lied. Or do you think I'm telling you what I'm doing? See the difference? See the difference? Because that's where it's all at. That's where it all is. And then tonight, you guys, as soon as I can get Mr. Vermont to wake up, because he pulled an all-nighter to get the website done. As soon as I can get Mr. Vermont on the live with us so he can explain things. Because remember, I only know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. So I don't know how that system works. So, yep. And you know what comes next, right? You know what comes? Sign the petitions right there. Everybody sign the petition. Recall Jeff Lawless. Everybody sign those petitions, pretty please. Pretty please sign those petitions, okay? Okay? Listen, there's one thing for sure. There's one thing for certain. There's one thing that is unequivocal. We don't stop. We don't stop under any circumstances, for any reason. I don't care if they kill me, we don't stop. If they kill you, we don't stop. If you get arrested, we don't stop. If I get arrested, we don't stop. Under any circumstances, we do not stop. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is, okay? San Joaquin Valley Transparency, they blew me up. What does that mean, Irish Rover in Florida? What does San Joaquin Valley Transparency blew me up? What does that mean? I'm not sure. If there's corruption in Akron, I need to know about that. I need to know. I need those stories emailed to irontontransparency@gmail.com. Oh, San Joaquin Valley Transparency. Listen, those guys over there, you know, that's why when people say things to me about, of course, you can send me an email to irontontransparency@gmail.com. That goes through a process and then it comes to me. Yeah, I need more than 10,000. We need 50,000 for the application. We need 50,000. We don't just need 10,000 from San Joaquin. We need 5 people with 10,000, or we need 10 people with 5,000 to build the app, to build the activist app. That's what we need. We need more than the 10,000. We don't just need 10,000 from San Joaquin Valley Transparency. Let me say that again. Tomorrow or the next day, I lay the app out. Tomorrow or the next day. I lay the app out tomorrow. So that's what happens tomorrow. And San Joaquin Valley Transparency was in on the beginning of it. And so initially when I spoke to him, we were going to get 5 people with $10,000 each. So we got to raise 50 grand. And that I'm going to lay that app out in the next 2-3 days. That's what I'm going back to Dallas to do, because I have a place there where I can stay and I don't have to pay rent at that place. And so that makes it so I can kind of hover for a minute and catch up. Because just so you guys, in case you guys don't know, I spent every dime I raised. We spent it all. We spent every dime I raised. I had to pay Bob. I had to pay one of the guys that works for me. I had to pay Terry to drive to Cincinnati. There's a lot of people. I pay for 5 different phones that I pay for every month. 4. I pay for 4 phones and 2 lines on one of those lines. So it's technically 5. but I pay for 4 different cell phone accounts. And then one of those lines has 2 lines on it. So I spent every dime. People who donated and bought my products, I'm super grateful. We spent every single dime. And I'm just hovering at about $1,000 again. I'm just right about 1,000 bones. That's where I'm at. And that's because guys like David and Richard and Michael, and I mean, you have no idea the people. And then there's somebody who donates to me. There's somebody who donates to me, and they donate like $500, $600, $700, and they donated also to Derek Medley in Ironton, Ohio. But they donated, and they have a name like Shinagada or something like that. I think it's a Japanese name. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Hey, I don't know who you are, but I want to say thank you, because that chunk of change that you sent to me on Cash App, $600, dude. That was the final money that made it possible that I could just pay Bob, and then I would still have a little bit of scratch in my pocket. So yeah, but I'm just about $1,000 right now, which is right where I was when I got to Houston. So I'm super grateful. Thanks a lot. That person, who certainly has to be the same person, because they're using names like JAAA and like, PTQBS. I mean, that's not it, but it's something like that. I posted one of their visions, one of their names in my community for Derek when they donated $750 to Derek Medley, and then matched that donation to me. And it's kept me afloat, because I have to stay in hotels and I got to travel constantly. So I'm super grateful. I'm super grateful. I mean, I just want to say thank you to the people who supported. I'm super grateful. There's no other way to say it, So I know I spent another, 5. Actually, my mom is terrified. My mother is afraid. My mother is deathly afraid that I'm going to be killed. My mom can't watch my videos because she's scared. She's scared that something's going to happen to her. So she doesn't watch any of the things I produce. My mom doesn't ever watch any of my videos. She knows that I'm a freedom fighter. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it, brother. She knows that I'm a freedom fighter, and she knows that I'm not ever going to stop the mission. And hopefully, my mom's husband, Brian, who I've created a very good relationship with, I told him when I left Arizona that he didn't know who I was. And hopefully Brian is now starting to see, who I am, because I didn't really know who I was until I met the people of Ironton. And when I looked into their eyes and I realized so many are being cheated and railroaded, I realized what my true mission in life was. I had no intentions of moving to Ohio. Never even thought about. I told you guys this last time I talked, and now I'm moving to Ohio because the people there need somebody to help them. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm on my way now. So, all right, I'm just blabbing. So thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the love. Thanks for buying my products. That really gets me through. And if you guys don't have that trifold, you can still get it by putting free trifold in. And you use that coupon code when you check out, and then it registers for free. You shouldn't have to put a credit card in at all. If you're using free trifold, you shouldn't have to put in your debit card or credit card number. Free trifold, push enter, and it should be enough. Okay? So thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. To my hometown friends in Alaska who are watching the journey that your classmate is on, and I'm on this journey with thousands of other people. Thanks. I appreciate it. I've heard some really nice things some people have said from my hometown in Alaska, and I'm just so super grateful. You remember, you're flying on a wing and a prayer with other people. So if you don't take the time to be grateful, then and we have a long fight to go. So where's the trifold I paid for? You made $45,000. I wish. Thanks, Work Lion. Work Lion's a big supporter. I check my Cash App, my Zelly sometimes, and Work Lion has sent me a nice contribution so I can keep going. I'm super grateful. Thanks, man. I really am. And by the way, the first time Work Lion sent me a couple $100, he said to me, "This isn't for you. This is for what you can do. So do it." That's what he said to me. So something like that, pretty close to that. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep my word, and I'm going to keep my honor, my integrity, my valor, my mission. And that's what I'm going to do. All right, Alan, good to see you, brother. Thanks for your support, Alan. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to get the flock out of here, guys. Hey, and I want to hear your story, all right? I want to hear your story. Send your story to irontontransparency@gmail.com and leave your phone number. Always put your phone number so there's not 3 transmissions. Always put. I have to call you from a different phone number now, and this is not a public phone number. The other phone is in the back, wrapped in towels. So, all right, I got to go. We don't stop. It's 4:20. It's a perfect time to stop. It's 420 people in here. Everybody hit your like button. Hit your like button. If you guys can, make sure you get the trifold or get it for free. And thank you. We don't stop, and we never stop. God bless you. God bless the United States. Let's get back to it. All right. We don't stop. Later, guys.